Morning found the house before the world did. Eliza rose as she always had, quietly, deliberately, without announcement. She moved through the room with practiced care, drawing on routine the way one draws on breath. But the bed behind her was not empty. Thomas still slept there, not restless, not guarded, at rest in a way she had not seen before. She paused only once, long enough to confirm what the night had already settled. Then she left him there, not as a retreat, but as trust. Some things did not need to be explained in daylight. Some things were proven by what was allowed to remain. Morning settled into the house the way it always had, quietly, without asking what had passed the night before. Eliza moved through the dining room with the same calm authority she carried into every day. The table was set simply: bread, cups, a small dish placed with care. Thomas sat across from her, not beside her, not apart, across. Nothing was said, and yet everything had been acknowledged. The town still lingered in memory. The night still rested between them. But the silence was no longer sharp. It was shared. Eliza focused on her cup, steady and composed. Thomas watched her, not to claim, not to reassure himself, but to learn how to remain present without asking for more than had been given. Some mornings did not require explanation, only respect, and the understanding that whatever came next would be met, not with force, not with fear, but together. The house resumed its rhythm, not because anything had been resolved, but because life did not wait for certainty. Eliza moved through the morning with the same quiet command she always carried. Instructions given, tasks assigned, nothing hurried. Thomas watched her work without interrupting. He had learned, slowly, that love did not ask to be inserted into her routine. It waited to be earned there. When the servants had dispersed and the house settled into its late morning calm, Thomas finally spoke. Careful, respectful. "I need to go into town today." He did not dress the words with reassurance. He did not promise safety. "There are supplies to be ordered, accounts to answer." A pause. "And I would understand if you chose not to come." Eliza did not answer immediately. She finished tying the ribbon at a parcel, straightened the table. Then she looked at him. Eliza, even, composed. "I will go." Not defiance, not bravado, decision. Thomas nodded, not relieved, prepared. He reached for his coat, the heavier one this time, not for warmth, for what the world required of him beyond the gate. The town had not changed overnight. Neither had the world beyond the fields. But something in how they would meet it had. The bank stood at the center of town, solid, orderly, respected. A place where names carried weight and decisions were recorded in ink, not rumor. Thomas entered without hesitation. Eliza walked beside him, not behind, not ahead, together. He had done business here for years. They knew his wealth, they knew his reach. They did not need reminding. Thomas removed his gloves and placed them on the counter. Thomas, calm, deliberate. "I'd like my wife's name added to all accounts and holdings." The room shifted, not loudly, but unmistakably. Pens paused, eyes lifted, then quickly looked away. No one refused him. No one questioned the legality, but approval did not follow compliance. The clerk nodded stiffly and reached for the ledger. Clerk measured. "As you wish, sir." Ink scratched across parchment. Eliza stood still. She did not smile. She did not flinch. She did not thank anyone for what should never have required courage. Thomas did not look at her for reassurance. He watched the pen, and when it was done, he nodded once, as though something long overdue had finally been set right. They stepped back onto the street with the bank behind them. That was when they saw her. Susan stood across the way, dressed finely, posture rigid. She looked at Thomas, then at Eliza, and looked away. She did not stop. She did not speak. She did not acknowledge what had been chosen. She brushed past Thomas as though he were a stranger, as though Eliza did not exist. The rejection was precise, intentional. Thomas, quiet to Eliza. "I'm sorry." Eliza did not slow her step. Eliza, even, composed. "For what?" Thomas did not answer, because he understood then. Some things were not his to repair. They had nearly finished their errands when it happened again. Another store, another pause at the door, another look that said no before a word was spoken. The shopkeeper's expression hardened as soon as Eliza stepped inside. Thomas felt it rise in him, that familiar heat behind the ribs, the tightening of the jaw, the certainty that came too quickly, the part of him that believed force could end a moment faster than dignity ever would. His hand curled at his side. Then, Eliza's voice, not raised, not afraid. Eliza, quiet, steady. "Thomas," his full name, spoken once. He looked at her, and in that instant he remembered the night before, the door closing, the choice made without demand. Thomas reached for her hand, not to shield, not to claim, to anchor himself. "Thomas, we're leaving." He did not wait for permission. He turned with her, together, and walked back into the street. No words were thrown after them, no victory declared. But something had been broken all the same. Not in the town, in him. The carriage ride home was quiet, not tense, careful. The road stretched ahead, the town slowly giving way to fields. Thomas loosened his grip on her hand, but did not let go. Thomas, after a moment, "I felt it again." Eliza did not look away. "Thomas, that anger." A breath. "Thomas." And for the first time, I stopped. He shook his head slightly. "Thomas, I don't want to be ruled by it." Eliza listened. She did not praise him. She did not excuse him. Eliza, even, grounding. "Then keep choosing." The carriage rolled on. The house received them without ceremony. The gates opened. The carriage slowed. Life resumed its measured pace. But eyes noticed. The staff had learned to read the smallest shifts. How Thomas stepped down first, not out of habit but awareness. How Eliza moved beside him, not waiting, not following. No one spoke. No instructions were challenged. But something settled into the space. A quiet understanding that what had changed in town had followed them home. Eliza gave orders calmly. Work resumed without disruption. Thomas paused once on the veranda, watching her move through the house, not with pride, with humility. The house grew quiet again. Night returned differently this time, not with uncertainty, but with the understanding that silence could hold truth if someone was brave enough to place it there. Thomas sat on the edge of the bed in Eliza's room. He did not reach for her. He waited. Thomas, after a long breath. "I've never spoken of him like this." Eliza did not turn away. She did not interrupt. "Thomas, my father believed anger was strength." His voice tightened. "Thomas, he said a man who hesitates loses control." A pause. "Thomas, I learned early how to be quiet and never learned how to be gentle." The words cost him, not because they were new, but because they were finally said aloud. "Thomas, when I feel it rise, that certainty, I'm afraid of who I become before I can stop myself." He looked at her then, not asking forgiveness, asking understanding. Eliza placed her hand over his. "Eliza, steady, grounding. Then keep stopping." A breath. "Eliza, and let me see you choose." That night, the past did not loosen its grip, but it was named, and naming it was the first act of freedom. The days that followed were steady, not easy, but grounded. Eliza kept the house moving with her usual grace. Thomas returned to his work with a quieter mind. Nothing remarkable happened, and somehow, that mattered most. It was on the third morning that the letter arrived, sealed, urgent, unavoidable. Thomas read it once, then again. 2 days away, business that required his presence. He folded the paper slowly and stood in the doorway of the sitting room where Eliza worked. I need to leave town for a short time. A pause. 2 days. He searched her face, not for permission, but for truth. I don't want to leave you alone. The words carried no command, only fear, the kind that comes after learning what you could lose. Eliza set her work aside and met his gaze. I will be fine. She did not soften it. She did not challenge him. She reminded him who she was. Thomas nodded. He knew she was capable. He knew the house would stand. Still, his chest tightened. It isn't doubt in you. A breath. It's the world. Eliza stepped closer, not to reassure him, but to steady him. Then go. A beat. And come back to me. Their life had found its balance, but balance too could be tested. And for the first time, Thomas would have to leave, not to escape danger, but to trust that what they had built could stand in his absence. Their life was growing steadier, but the world did not pause just because they had learned how to stand. And for the first time, Thomas would have to leave, not to escape danger, but to prove he could return without losing himself to it.